Forgive me for being a tad late with the upload. I'm clearly suffering from a post-Christmas daze. But we are here now and ready to close out 2022 with this dumb birthday game Norm Nathan Show combo from December 27th and 28th, 1995, which I have titled Ringing in the New Year with Some Ding-Dongs. We begin with Norm describing where Jack does his traffic reports from. Jack offers a belated birthday wish to Norm. Norm, who is slighted by Jack's lack of gifts or cards, runs down a list of the celebrity birthday greetings he received, one with the very clever tagline. Mike Epstein, on the other hand, has been sending Norm cards since last February. In addition to Jack and Mike, the rest of the panel includes Arlene in Philadelphia, Kevin in Maine, Val in Needham, and Jean from Kingston. There are slim pickings on birthdays and events. Tova Felchu and her merry band of chorus men, Anna Russell, and 36 minutes in, we finally get to the third birthday, Bernard Lanvin, or Bernard Lanvin, and we close it out with Dr. William Howell Masters. He does not make house calls in Cleveland. Norm takes it to the break, and we move on to the Norm Nathan Show. We have calls from Fred, Alice, a quick one from Ruth from Buzzards Bay. Then we cut to Norm talking about Lou Gorman, then vice president of the Red Sox, who would read a proclamation announcing Lizzie Murphy Day, honoring a woman who played semi-pro baseball for 17 years. A very interesting story. Here's Irene talking about the old days in Lawrence and Haverhill. Man, those were the days. Mike talking Norm's chickens. Mary asking about Norm's cats. And suddenly, Norm is talking to guests. They are Lucy Johnson, also known as Princess Cheyenne. In Montana, they were appearing at Matthews in Tingsboro. They chat about pickup lines, careers, teasers, and more. Or is it less? At one point, Lucy asks Montana to tell a story, but the tape was paused. However, we do pick it up when I enter the studio, and it gets a bit racy. They also took some calls. Mark and Newton, who's made a terrible career choice. Neil from Lynn, looking for measurements. Dan in Littleton, also known as the origami dropper. And John from Boston, who needs a ride to Matthews. We revel in other fun, such as, imagine if the traffic guy gets hit by a car. Oh, the irony! Wretches, the homely father. Double your money back if you don't like the onion soup. I'll let Norm explain that get-rich-quick scheme. Happy Chattanooga Day? A Pittsburgh radio host from KDKA. I couldn't quite understand what they said. I think it was Bob Jones. Well, he's ghosting Norm. Norm's Uncle Max was assassinated in 1953 for his sharp sense of humor. We learn of the new nation of Methuen, and also the other new nation of Swansea. There's a mention of the birthday game handbook. May I suggest you have some Madeira, my dear? Clenched jaws. Gregorian humor, or should I say, Gregorian humor. A Jack Benny cameo. Frolicking in the woods. The Mystery of the Inner Lobe. That is a little-known Spielberg movie. We get Norm's opinions on Dean Martin. Norm speaks sultry French. There's some witty repartee and the rebirth of radio. And Norm is very territorial. Episode 119, Ringing in the New Year with Some Ding-Dongs, drops into your ears in 3, 2, and 1.
Kind of sitting there in his traffic reporting headquarters, and just waiting for cars to go, for something to happen. You're in the basement of some godforsaken building in, on San Esteban Government Center.
Yes, and we're looking up at the world through the, well, actually, we're not in the basement, but we're close enough.
Yeah, you're on the first floor there, I believe. Is that
fourth floor?
Oh, you're on the fourth floor?
Yeah.
Oh, well, excuse me, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we can see all of Cambridge Street between Center Plaza and the Chinese restaurant.
Is there anybody else in that entire building where you are? Is this just you sitting there lonely on the fourth floor, nothing happening, no sign of activity or life or anything?
The entire building is empty. As a matter of fact, if I wanted to, I could run around naked.
Do you ever get that urge?
Well, every now and again. Matter of fact, I'm sitting here naked right now. But Norm, I forgot to wish you a happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much. I was slighted by that, you know.
Well,
Oh, yeah, my birthday came and went, and I said, sure, Jack doesn't care. He pretends he cares, yeah.
He was sitting by the phone looking. You were dressed up, had on the tie.
I kept going out to the mailbox 5, 6, 7 times a day. I thought, it'll probably be a special delivery that they'll probably just drop in. Nothing there. I got cards from Michelle Pfeiffer, Sophia Loren. I got some from the Secretary of State, whose name escapes me at the moment.
Was that be Warren Christopher?
Warren Christopher, that's right, yeah. We call him Bugsy Christopher. Those of us who know him very well. And, cards like that, from Keith Lockhart, the new conductor of the Boston Pops Esplanade Orchestra. He sent me a card.
No kidding.
He has a baton on it and stuff. It says, here's leading you into a lovely new year.
Yeah.
There are a lot of those kind of local cards. I got a card from my local gas station that had the gas stations had little, the pumps had little decorations on them, like they were like trees. Mm-hmm. And the attendants were dressed like elves. And I know, I've been to that gas station. You go by, that little, what do they call it, the tube or something you cross. When you drive over it, it rings inside the station so people know that you're there.
Oh yeah, the little ding dong bell.
Oh, the ding dong, the bing dong bell.
Yeah.
It was when you went by it. It did sleigh bells. Are you listening? It was a whole thing there. But anyway, there was still no card from Jack Hart.
No
despite
card
all
from
that.
me.
No, nothing at all. It was just kind of pitiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just a wretch.
I beg your pardon.
I'm just a wretch.
A wretch, yeah. Okay, we have Mike Epstein who's here.
Hello.
And Mike Epstein sent me 722 birthday cards because
I started sending you cards back last February.
That's right.
No,
3 a day.
Yeah, and he couldn't remember. Sometimes he couldn't. As we got closer to my birthday, he couldn't remember whether he'd sent me one or not. So he's trying to make up for it by like having a whole handful of them and stuff.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, next year I'll send you 2.
I think that'll make up for it.
No, I don't think it'll make up for it at all. No, it won't make up for it
Trying to cut the guy a little slack.
No, nothing.
He's up in his lonely traffic tower in the W. What was those call letters again?
Well, there's some.
Yeah.
WBZ for
something like that.
We buy zebras.
Not the one that used to be a station
About
Dead Haddock or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's WHDH.
He sits there all alone in the Dead Haddock building, and it just happened to escape his attention that it was your birthday, and you're not going to cut the guy any slack if he makes up for it next year.
Well, because
what kind of a friend are you, Norm?
You get delirious when you're sitting here alone. You get confused. You don't know if it's daytime, nighttime, what month it is, nothing. Because, they never let us out of the building.
Well, they never know when a car's apt to go by.
This is true.
And no, we sponge off a little bit in between shifts. And
wouldn't it be ironic to have a traffic guy get hurt because he leaves in the middle of the night, nothing's going on, and then he gets hit by a car and then crossing Cambridge Street. Well, that's a wonderful story, isn't it? I love to come up with stories like that.
Before I go on any further, I got a call from some guy who's, I guess, out of the state for a short time, and this is the honest to God's truth here. Mm-hmm. And he listens to BZ all the time, and I guess he's got a daughter, Lori is her name. And he's some guy on the road just wanted me to say hi to Laurie from her daddy. Whomever that is, I don't know who it is.
I happen to know who that is.
Well, thank you very much.
Laurie is a lovely girl. She's 22 years old, has dark hair all the way down her shoulder. She's a knockout.
Is she really?
Her father, however, happens to be ugly, and he's got hair all over his face and a big nose. And Laurie doesn't care for him at all. She doesn't even want to see him. It's really pitiful. It's a kind of family relationship that could make you, in Jack's words, wretch.
It sounds like a good soap opera.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I'll buy the rights.
Yeah, I might be thinking of that might not be true. I might be thinking of the soap opera.
Well,
like
it could be
Ronald
a
Reagan, I
sitcom,
get.
The Homely Father.
What's that, please?
It could be a sitcom, The Homely Father.
It could be, but I think I've gotten to be like Ronald Reagan. I have no idea reality from fiction anymore. I sometimes repeat old stories that I'm sure they happened to me. Then I realize, no, I think that was a plot of an old radio show. No, I used to do that with which I thought was a great story about the double your money back. Did I go through this double your money back story with you about the onion soup?
Not with me.
No.
Yeah, when I was a kid, if you didn't like, they had a lot of that kind of stuff. If you bought the onion soup and you didn't like it, you'd return the unused portion is the way they phrased it, and you'd get double your money back. And I thought, boy, that'd be kind of nice, because back then the cans, I think they only cost about a nickel. Assuming a nickel, we'll say.
Yeah, but how much to mail the can?
No, you bring it back to your local grocer where you got it.
Oh,
No, you just walk to it. You didn't have to mail it. No. And so you'd bring it back. He'd give you the nickel. He'd give you double your money back. He'd give you a dime. Go to another store and pick up a couple of cans.
Plus, you already had a beautiful bowl of soup.
Well, not the whole thing, because you have to return an unused portion.
Uh-huh.
They didn't say how much unused it was. Okay, so you'd go to another store and you'd get, you'd use the dime there that you got back to get 2 more cans. Anyway, you could multiply this, and I thought, into a fortune.
But it didn't matter what store you went to, because you didn't have to worry about legal terms like participating stores only.
Yeah, no, because all the stores carried this particular brand of onion soup. And so I was about, but you have to use some part of it, because they want you to return the unused portion. So he cooked up a part of the soup, and son of a gun, it was delicious. I mean, otherwise, if that were lousy soup, I would be a millionaire. See, now, I've told that story before. The fact is, that was a plot to an old Fibber, McGee, and Molly show. It never happened to me at all. But it took me years to finally admit that. I go around telling stories and pretending they happen to be. They're not. It happened mostly like to Jack Benny or somebody.
Funny, I was just listening to Fibber McGee earlier.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Did you hear the closet? They opened the closet door with all the stuff.
In this one, I didn't hear the closet. He was cutting cloth for his wife's dress.
Oh, I see. I see. No, the closet must have come along during another period. You aware of the closet? That was a big sound effect thing.
Absolutely.
Well, that's wonderful. You want to find out who else we got playing this game where we don't have really any events even to talk about?
Oh, sure.
I mean, if you want to.
Okay.
About nothing but more people.
Okay, here's Arlene in Philadelphia. Hello, Arlene.
Hi, Norm.
Whoa.
Were you the one who suggested that we call this?
Yes, as a matter of
I
fact.
couldn't believe that.
Yeah, no. Well, Mike is the one who talked to his producer,
Unbelievable.
this Amy that you talked about.
I was talking to my friend Ann, who's madly in love with you, Norm. In the beginning of the hour, when you were telling about what happened, and we just started to laugh, but we were so disgusted. And she said it's probably not Bob. She said she's really not too impressed when she's called there, because she said the producers are, kind of difficult to talk to and everything.
Yeah.
Not like BZ.
No, because we would have thought it was a great, funny idea. What's the guy's name, Paul? Bob?
The guy's name
Bob
is Bob. Bob what?
Bob Logue.
Yeah.
Bob Logue.
I never got to talk to him at all. I would talk to Amy, who told me that, Bob suggested I call back during the day sometime, during the week, and we can set something up, and it'll be a nice segment. I guess, according to Amy, he's all booked up during the overnights, which is something that while it could possibly be, I don't think it is.
No, because basically he just takes calls.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I've never heard him have any guests.
But I have to tell you, I think that, and I said this to Norm, maybe it was the way that I set the whole thing up. I said to Amy, I'm calling from WBZ in Boston. We sometimes talk with other live talk shows around the country, different stations. We just talk about the two cities, about radio, about just general lighthearted topics. And possibly it wasn't too hard driving and conservative enough. Maybe she wanted us to do a simulcast talking about the benefits of executions or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it was probably just her. I don't think it was Bob. That's for sure.
No.
But let's see. Well,
We understand now why Pittsburgh is a second-rate country. They got people
I
like
don't
that,
know.
yeah. And why Westinghouse ought to withdraw that. That's one of our own stations.
I know. I
yeah.
couldn't believe it. But Ann loves you, and she said not to worry about it.
No, well, we were depressed.
Don't worry about it either.
Yeah,
way.
we were depressed for about 12 seconds.
I was going to dive on a sword in Master Control,
Yeah,
but thankfully Norm ripped it out of my hands.
No, but we've done that with a lot of people. A lot of stations have called us.
Yeah.
And, it's just kind of a natural thing around 2 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of fun, especially lighthearted kinds of things.
Yeah,
And,
what he does, he plays a lot of quizzes, and sometimes he has a newsletter, and sometimes he'll read, little poems and sayings from that, and he does touch on some of the controversial things, but he's not as serious and. He's pretty down to earth. He's not like some of the other talk show hosts.
How old of a guy is he? Did you happen to know offhand?
I've never talked to him, and I never had the experience of calling that station, so maybe I should have known better. But anyway, I think he's probably in his mid-50s.
Oh, he's an old guy.
At the very least, he's a veteran. He's a veteran of the broadcasting service.
Yeah,
you have to know better.
Yeah, probably has no sense of adventure.
No.
Hey, Norm,
Yeah.
I was thinking of you on Christmas, and it's funny you just mentioned Jack Benny before, and also Fibber McGee and Molly is, I think, just about my favorite old-time radio show. But, because I love to hear Molly, especially her, because she's got such a smile in her voice with her Irish accent.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the stations in Delaware was playing some of the Jack Benny shows, and the ones that I heard was the one from 46 and one from 53, and they were about when he was driving the store clerk crazy with buying Christmas presents, and he would, and he would change his mind and have them rewrap it for another kind of whatever it was, and he did that like 5 or 6 times.
Was the clerk he dealt with Frank Nelson, the guy who said yes?
Yeah, and he was a psychiatrist.
Oh yeah. No, he was funny because he worked with Jack Benny for a lot of years, and anyway, his stuff is funny. I have some of them at home, and I'm always amazed that something that's 50 or 60 years old can still hold up, and it sounds like it was written this morning.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff. Okay, let's see. Oh, we have Kevin. Hold on a minute. Kevin is up in Maine. Hello, Kevin.
Hi. Happy Chattanooga.
Happy Chattanooga is very good. This is Chattanooga Day.
Yeah.
What does that mean, Kevin? I was trying to go...
Hanukkah. They spell it that way.
Oh,
it's
I see.
It's like Christmas.
I see. Except Hanukkah, I think, is over now, isn't that?
I don't know.
If it's not over,
I thought you guys had that all kinds of days.
No, I don't know what you mean by you guys, but as a result, we no. I think it's all.
Use guys.
It's all. Oh, I see. No, it's all done with. It's been done for a while.
Oh, I see.
But you do have a sense of humor that's really sharp and wonderful, and I can hardly wait for the next joke that comes out of your twisted mouth. Okay, let's quickly go to Val, who is in Needham. Hello, Val.
Well, it's about time.
I know that you've been hanging on for like a half an hour or so.
And while you guys had your pity party.
I know that we should have your pity party.
You see that?
Yeah, we should have we should have brought you in on it earlier.
Now that's
And anyway, I'm glad. Let me bring in Jean because she's been hanging in there from Kingston, which is not too far from well, it is far from Needham, sort of, down near Plymouth in that area. Hi, Jean.
Hi, Norm. How are you?
How nice of you to ask. I'm doing just fine, thank you.
Good. Do I sound like I'm talking in a tube this year?
Into a tube?
Yeah, the last time I called, you said I sounded as though I was talking through a tube.
No, well, no, I don't know whether I said it. I don't think I meant a tube. the quality wasn't all that great. It's not all that great right now either, but
Really?
we can understand
Yeah,
you.
no, it sounds like you're talking in a box.
Yeah, say
Well, I'm
so.
here anyhow.
She said, I'm here anyway. I think she was in a box when she said that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Time to call 9X. I know it's the truth.
Kevin,
Yes, sir.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed, hoping that you will keep up this hilarious conversation right through to the very end.
Oh,
Because
no,
you have
not me.
Because you have the kind of sharp sense of humor that my Uncle Max used to have.
Uh-oh.
He was assassinated, as I recall, back in 1953.
Well, I'm right by the window, Norm, so I can watch. If they're coming for me, I'll know. I'll be able to duck.
Well, maybe we can help
So I
you
can
out.
at least finish the game before I'm shot.
Okay. Let me, as I mentioned, there are very few well-known people were born on this day, one not so well-known person, but probably the best known of the whole lot that we have here, is the actress Tova Feldshuh.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? She was in a show, a musical show, that was in Boston. I think with Eartha Kitt. I think was also in the show. I can't remember that exactly. Her name is kind of Israeli, but she's actually from New York City, born in New York. Anyway, her birth date is this day, December 27th.
She was in a movie a few years back about a sweatshop in the early part of the century that burned.
Yes. I think there was a play originally, too, was it not?
I think, yeah, because...
It was a garment manufacturing plant.
Yes. And it was in
Was that Livingston Street or something like that? Some street.
It was some significant fire, whatever the deal was, that changed, changed rules and such.
Oh, that's right. It was based upon an actual event in which many people were killed. Like over 100 or something like that. Am I remembering right?
Something like a good number, yeah.
Okay, what do you think, Arlene? Tova Feldshuh. How old do you think she is?
When did you say the play was?
See, it says here Holocaust. Was that a play that she was in also? It says...
I think that was a TV deal.
A TV
What
thing.
was that about?
I think it was about the Holocaust. I don't know what that was. Yeah, it was either that or it was the story of a boy and his dog in the green hills of Vermont around the turn of the century in their search for happiness.
Yeah, the dog's name was Cost, and every day he would holler Cost.
Yeah, that's right. Across the green mountains of Vermont near Lake Champlain. And thus, a new nation was born.
I guess I'll have to
And
guess.
we call that new nation Methuen. Anyway, Arlene, what do you think?
55.
55. Okay, we're still talking about Tova Feldshuh, I guess. But I like some of those dramatic programs where the announcer says, and we climbed to the top of the hill, and overlooking that hill was a beautiful valley stretching out to the warm waters of the blue Pacific just beyond. And we carved a home for ourselves in that wilderness, and we call that home Swansea. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, without a clue, I'd say the most logical guess would be 67.
67. Okay. What do you think, Val? How old is Tova Feldshuh? Just in case we've lost track of what it is we're talking about. And probably just as well.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No.
I think perhaps 60.
60. Okay. And what do you think, Jane?
I think I'll say 67 along with Kevin.
67 along with Kevin.
How do you like
67 along with Kevin. Yeah,
Little
yeah,
does she
yeah.
know.
Okay. Mike, what do you think?
Oh, I'd say Tova Feldshuh. Is that her name?
That's her name. Tova
Feldshuh.
Feldshuh, yes.
Feldshuh.
Feldshuh.
Tova Feldshuh.
Tova Feldshuh. Tova Feldshuh with the googly eyes.
I'd say...
We're having a lot of fun considering we have no material here at all.
I'd say Madame Tova's got to be 65.
65, as the people say, 65 years young.
Yes.
When they're being patronizing of us old people. What do you think, Jack?
Tova Feldchu, Tova Feldchu. Tova Feldchu. I'll say...
Tova Feldchu, where the wind comes right behind the rain.
I'm saying not knowing. And all.
Oh, Kevin, shut up.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Let's say that Tova Feldchu.
Tova Feldchu,
Tova
yes.
Feldchu.
Tova.
Tova Feldchu.
Don't stop thumbing through that book and just give us an answer.
All right.
No, you see, everybody gets a chance to guess first before we give the answer, and then we do it right after. Those are the rules that were established on page 973 of the Dumb Birthday Game Handbook, which obviously you never got in the mail because somebody here hates your guts.
Have we updated that for 96 yet?
No, we haven't got the 96 version out. We should get it out within the next few days.
But do we have the 93 version out yet?
Oh, yeah, we have the... No, we're working on the 94
version yet?
No. Oh, you stop. Anyway, Jack, what do you think? Tova Feldchu.
Tova Feldchu. She's going to be 48.
You are the closest.
Whoosh.
Wow.
Yeah, she's actually 43. Everybody gets much older than that.
Spring chicken.
40. She is. She's just a kid, Kevin. Yeah, just
I'm
a
embarrassed.
kid. Yeah, Tova Feldchu's 43. Okay, how about... Did anybody know Anna Russell? She was kind of a big deal when I was a lot younger. She's a comedian. Let me see. I think she's British. Let's see. Yes, born in England. She was very much a fad when I was... let me see. What year would that have been?
When you were a youngster?
Yeah, when I was... I thought she was terribly hip, but I think if you listen to her stuff now, I'm not sure how funny it would be. But she used to do satirical comedy songs and that kind of stuff. And I can't... I think one of her songs was called... was about wine. No, I can't remember it now. Anyway, when I thought she was really hot stuff would have been back in the 50s, maybe even back to the 40s. And she would do one-woman shows, you know, in smaller theaters. She probably, if she were alive today and still... Oh, she must still be alive. She's in here. Yeah.
She's in the book.
Yeah, I guess she still is alive. But if she were still performing, she'd probably perform at some small place like Jordan Hall or something like that. And she did this, you know, again, satirical stuff. I at one time, I may still have some albums by her. Have something. What's the wine? The expensive wine that starts with an M. It's
Moet. No, that's champagne.
Yeah, Moet or something.
well. The next line, maybe this will help you place it. Have some something Madeira. Madeira. Yeah. Have some Madeira. Yeah, that was one of the songs. We thought that was just hilarious.
Fun
back
thing
then,
going on there.
Oh, yeah. So, have some Madeira. You know, one of those kind of performers who you probably wouldn't think is the slightest bit funny anymore. But we're a bunch of snotty kids, and we thought, this is really high-class humor and sophisticated, subtle kinds of stuff. And we love her very much. The average person on the street probably wouldn't even appreciate some of her subtle humor. We went out talking like that. What a bunch of sickening boobs we were. I'm glad I grew out of that.
How come you never hear of Gregorian humor?
Gregorian humor?
You know,
a man came up to me and said he hadn't had a bite in 3 days. So I bid him.
you know.
Okay, just for that, we'll start with you, Jack. Oh, Jack.
Yeah.
How old would you say, you know, Anna Russell would be, you know, today, you say?
Well, she's not 39.
No. Now, cut that out.
Let's see. She was popular when you were a lad.
Yes, I was probably in my 20s at that point.
Oh, let's see. When was the turn of the century? That was around
You
1900.
know, we don't need, you see, that kind of humor, Jack.
Wow.
We're milking this thing because we got hardly anybody else born on this day. We're waiting for some important person to be born, maybe between now and 3:45.
I will say that Anna Russell is 84.
84. Okay, what do you think? Excuse me. What do you think, Mike?
I think that
I don't mean just about Anna Russell. I mean, what do you think about life in general? Is it worthwhile? What about your
Well,
your
you
hopes,
know what I
your
was thinking
dreams?
about? I was thinking that there aren't that many people born in December. And we always seem to have this problem, around this time of the year, because this is December.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that there wasn't a lot of frolicking in the woods, as they say, or anywhere else for that matter, in March and April. And I wonder why that is, because it's something that's obviously gone on more than just for one particular year.
Well, you know why? Because the women are angry with what they got for Valentine's Day in February.
That could be it. Maybe they were worried too much about paying their taxes or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they said probably it would be March? No, it'd be
March.
March would be 9 months prior to this day. Yeah, probably saying it's going to be soon. It'll be spring. It'll be warm. It'll be lovely. We'll fall in love, and then we'll do it. Probably saying that. Why now? It's just the end of winter. We're disgusted with the cold and the snow that we've had and all that, and snow and ice up to our eyebrows. Let's wait till spring comes and we hear the peepers, and then we'll fool around and have babies. And they'll all be born in February, and their name will be Isaac Mellinson. And the country was born. And we called it Methuen.
Well, you know what people could do? People could do a public service in an effort to save the birthday game. They could start in like Nookie in like March and such, and having famous children, so that a few years down the line there will be a fresh supply of December babies that are famous.
I would hope so, because if we want to continue this game, you folks out there got to cooperate with us. I mean, we don't do this for fun. This is a public service thing. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, Mike.
Anyway, who are we talking about now?
I think we're talking about Anna Russell. She probably died somewhere between Jack Hart's guess and yours.
Okay, if we can assume that she's still with us, then I'll say that she's 83.
83.
Yeah.
Okay, and Gene, what do you think? And if you want to flump it around for 5 or 10 minutes the way we've been doing, and just do a stand-up monologue or anything, that's perfectly okay.
The way you're talking about nobody being born in December, hardly. You were.
No, I was, and there were a few others. The other day we had a whole bunch of people just on that one day, December 26th. Steve Allen, Alan King. Yeah.
Their mothers couldn't have waited a couple of hours.
Well, it's like I had a sister in Germany, and she had 3 children born the 12th of October, 1 year apart.
Well, I'll be gosh darn.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with what we're talking about, or am I missing
she was
this?
busy in January.
Oh, I see.
It was cold over there.
Yes, I guess so.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Gene?
I'll say 81.
Do you know Anna Russell? Do you know that name at all?
I've heard it.
Okay. Because she was sort of well known among, amongst a certain group of snobby people like me at that time.
Yeah.
Val, what do you think?
I think I'll go along with, who was that? Well, it doesn't matter. 83.
Okay, that was Mike.
It was me, and I thank you.
Yeah, that's right. It was Mike who said 83. And Kevin?
82.
Kevin says 82. And what do you say, Arlene?
80.
80. You all
Arlene, say that again. Please just say 80 again. I love the way you say that number.
80.
Oh.
Whoa. That was nice, wasn't it?
No, that
You
was
know, my
just
hanky
beautiful.
and dab my brow.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that kind of feels good against the inner lobe. Yeah.
The frontal lobe.
Yeah, inner lobe sounds like that's another Stephen King movie.
Inner lobe?
The Mystery of the Inner Lobe, starring Anna Russell as Jack Hart. Anyway, Anna Russell today is 84. So you all came remarkably close, considering hardly anybody heard of her, except you were figuring if I was a kid at the time. That's kind of insulting to me, this whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
We could have said 311.
Okay. And Mike and Val were very close. They said 83, very, very close to... well, everybody was close, but Jack won that round. Oh, I didn't say who won the first round. Was Jack also?
Wow.
Yeah, so Jack's got 2 out of 2.
And before we go to number 3, could we do a little station remuneration?
I think that means a commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we could work that out just so darn nicely, yes. That would just so darn nice. Okay, you're back with us again, all of you, and you too, Jack?
No, thank you.
Thanks for nothing special, eh?
Well, thanks for bringing me back, and you could have left me, out in the cold.
And we brought back Arlene, Kevin, Val, and Gene, and Mike. And Mike and I were just going through the list of other people born in the state, and I was asking, because this was kind of in a sense, kind of a story conference. Or programming meeting or something like that. And we were trying to decide whether, since Tova Feldshuh and Anna Russell were the most famous people born in the state, you can imagine the other names that we come up with and whether we ought to go with them. So normally we would just say, well, let's take events that happened on this day, tell us the year. But it's amazing how few really interesting things happened on this day, too. In 1945, for example, I'll give you the year because we won't guess this. To give you an example of what happened on December 27th, 1945, 28 nations signed an agreement creating the World Bank. I know that probably has some significance in the world of finance, but it's not the kind of thing you'd say, wow, was it that long ago? Boy, doesn't time
Seems
fly.
like yesterday.
I know it, and look at all the money they lent out to the third world nations. And what have they done with it? My goodness.
Spent it on lottery tickets, probably.
And the rest of them, that's the most exciting one. The rest are not quite as exciting as that. So what we'll do, and this is based upon my consultant, Mike Epstein,
Thank you.
suggested we go right ahead with some other people, even though you may never have heard of any of them, and maybe you have, and just go ahead with it. And we'll try to bring a certain amount of joy and wonderment to the dullness of this game.
You mean the guy? You mean like names like the guy who sells the newspaper at like Park Street Station, for example?
We don't have anybody that interesting. No, we have like the next one is Bernard Lanvin, Lanvin. He's French. He's a fashion designer. Do you know that name? Maybe women who follow fashion know that. I guess you pronounce his name since it's French. Bernard. Excuse me. Well, hold on a minute. I'm going to either clear my throat or choke right on the air. That might add a certain amount of excitement to the game. Yeah. I understand Nathan choked and died right there during the birthday game. Yeah, it was. It was disco and so dull he wanted to do something to pick it up a bit.
And then Milton Berle can say something. He was a trooper. He was what a human being we lost.
Yeah. He was a wonderful guy. He had a nice voice, and I had every one of his records.
I read your quotes in the Herald, however, by the way, speaking of quotes in the Herald.
Yeah.
Regarding Dean Martin.
Yeah, no, I was kind of hoping that they would forget it and call me back later when I thought about it. But somebody hits you right off, like, what do you think of Dean Martin? And, in many ways I wanted to be like him because he's so suave, sophisticated, good-looking guy and everything. And he seemed like a guy who didn't take himself seriously, nice laid back. I mean, a lot of that I can identify with. But I was never a fan of his singing, which is kind of like a third-rate Bing Crosby.
Oh, no.
Are you kidding me?
Better.
I'm sorry, I think I've said something offensive.
Wow.
Okay, anyway, this is Bernard Lanvin, or Bernard Lanvin. He was born in France Neilly. I don't know how you pronounce that. Noy?
No, yes.
Anyway, fashion designer. Born on December 27th, and we'll guess his age.
Do we have any hints, any kind of
I just gave you that. I
benchmarks?
told you where he was
Dates?
born. I told you he was a fashion designer. What more do you want?
Did he win the International Designing Award in 1963 or anything that we might know about?
I don't believe so.
I mean, something that we can say.
I know it.
He did this then. He must be this old now.
Isn't there a perfume or something? Lanvin, Lanvin.
Not wearing perfume, I really couldn't tell you.
There is.
Yeah.
You're right.
Is there a Lanvin perfume?
Yes, there is.
And it smells like chicken.
Very nice.
Okay. I'm going to start with you this time, Kevin. What do you think?
Oh, thanks.
I know it. I don't. I think we're all in the same boat. I don't believe he's a household name.
Well, this is only our third item, by the way.
I know.
How's that?
I know it. Well, we're trying to stretch it with the thin material that we
Oh,
have.
I stretched it as far as I could. 65. I have no clue who this man is.
No, I don't think anybody has. Well, he's a fashion designer. That.
Yeah, not necessarily a good one, but he's a...
Well, I'm
A
sure
good
not
one.
wearing anything he made.
What are you? What are you wearing now, honey?
Jack isn't wearing anything.
I'm wearing a ferret on my neck.
Oh, yay. Jean. Actually, I'm more interested in what Jean's wearing. And I thank God for that. Jean, how old do you think Bernard Lanvin is, or Lanvin? Bernard Lanvin.
Oh, let's see. Just a crazy guess. 69.
69. Okay. What do you think, Arlene?
60.
60. And Val?
56.
56? That would you say?
Yes, 50.
5'6". Okay. Mike?
Oh, say, can you see?
What?
I have no idea. The national anthem just came over me momentarily.
Was I supposed to stand up?
It was a patriotic moment. Never mind, it's over. Forget it. I'm going to
I'm
say...
standing at attention.
Oh, Mike did stood up when he said that, too. And it was kind of a tear.
I'm going
covered
to
his eye.
I'm going to say 59.
59. Okay. What would you say, Jack?
Bernard Levin. What?
Bernard Levin.
From... Is that where he's from?
He's from New France. Ouais. And did I ever tell you that, Jacques, that while we're in a French kind of mood, that vous avez...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, vous avez un visage comme une grande pièce de fromage. Une grande vache. I don't know if I ever told you that or not, and I hate to break it to you right now, but I've had that locked up in my soul all this time.
I see.
Do you have any idea what I just said?
I believe you said that I've got my face is like a big wheel of cheese.
I did say that, and like a cow also. There was a second part.
Oh.
Une vache.
I see. We're kind of milking this joke, aren't we?
I hope tomorrow when we play the dumb birthday game, we don't have any more material than we have today, because it's sort of guessing ages sort of gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
But just this kind of dialogue, this kind of fun give and take.
This witty repartee.
Oh,
yeah.
It works.
This makes it does. It works, man.
This is going to be a rebirth of radio based on this game.
The holiday quiz show.
Yes.
Or the radio quiz show. Let's see. He is
These sounds that you make are they're just exciting. They're really exciting.
he's got to be 66.
66. Okay, actually, Bernard Lanvin is 60, which is what Arlene said.
All right,
Yeah,
Arlene.
so Arlene got that right on the button.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
She knew something.
Yes, she did. She knew something.
Yep.
How about,
I didn't even know.
We can have time for one more.
We can have time for one more. Let's pick another well-known person. How about,
Like the rest.
no, this is William Howell Masters. It says physician. I don't know whether he's a GP or
the guy that was on Gilligan's Island?
That's what I was thinking.
maybe, I don't know. He's a physician.
Johnson?
He must have done something. I don't know whether was that. Maybe that could be Masters and Johnson of that part. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't say. Just physician, born at Cleveland, Ohio, and doesn't say even whether he makes house calls or anything. Just a physician.
Well, he is from Cleveland, and that'll age a person, I understand.
So I understand myself.
So that's the only clue we have is that the good doctor is from Cleveland.
That he was from Cleveland. That's correct. He was a good doctor from Cleveland.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
Is he anybody in particular's doctor?
No, it doesn't say. It just says physician. Physician, yeah.
I bet it is Masters and Johnson.
It might be Masters
Because
and
why
Johnson.
else would they have it in there?
Who knows? Who knows who prints these things? Some lunatic somewhere. Gee, you
When did
beats
that
me.
come out?
What's that, please?
When did that come out? That
This book
big,
came...
No. The big report, the Masters and Johnson.
Oh, Masters and Johnson? I don't know. It used
In
to
the
come...
60s, wasn't it?
Yeah, late 60s, I thought.
Yeah. Okay, what do you... Now, Val, what do you think? How old is William Howell Masters? And who cares? Unless it's Masters and Johnson, because they were kind of pioneers.
Pick a number. Any number.
Okay, I'll say 63.
63, okay. And what would you say, Mike?
I'd say 70.
Mike would say 70, and Arlene would say
65.
65. I want her to repeat that. She's got a nice husky voice. It's really nice.
One more time for the West Coast. Go ahead.
65.
Oh.
Wow.
Hello.
Oh, with a roll.
Humana.
What do you think, Kevin?
64.
64, okay. And Jack?
Let's see if they're famous. Well, they did this big the human sexual study, didn't they?
That was Masters and Johnson. That's right, yes.
So let's see if that was in the 60s. Let me see. And you'd still have to be, but then you'd have to be wise enough to be reporting on it. And then, so how old would that be?
Add 6.
He's got to be. Ooh,
and for this,
He sounds like he's in pain, doesn't he?
For this, we need a 50,000-watt clear channel station that reaches all the way to Illinois and West Virginia and all over the place. What a waste of power this is, isn't it?
he must be 75.
Okay. And Gene, what do you say?
72.
72. Okay, William Howell Masters, and this is the exciting moment when I reveal his age.
Wait.
Oh, no.
Break it gently.
Oh, dear.
He's 80.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Okay. That means that Jack was at 75, even though he was, 5 years off. That's not too bad. Is the closest. So Jack has really got 3 out of 4. The fourth one by Arlene in Philadelphia. She's the good friend of that disc jockey, that talk guy up at KDKA Pittsburgh.
Really? I don't know.
And probably Amy is your daughter. Is that true or false?
No. I have nothing to do with her. I never even called that radio station.
No, that's okay. Anyway, thank you very much, all of you, for playing the game. It was fun, even though we were kind of short of everything. Let me see who was won. I wonder if we can play this game tomorrow. Do you think anybody's won on the next day?
Does it matter?
Let's see. That would be the 28th. I have a feeling we're going to go through the same thing again. Yeah. No, we get a few better well-known people that day. So there'll be a little. Well, we'll see anyway. That's not for 24 hours. Time will weigh heavy till then.
A few people may be born.
Norm,
Yes, ma'am.
could I just say hello to Doris and Ed Cook? They are wonderful people in Needham who listen to you all the time.
Oh, well, that's very nice. This is Val? Is this?
We do a critique every time you're on,
Oh,
on the
really?
radio.
Well-
And Doris and I love you.
I appreciate that. This is Val speaking out.
Right.
Hey, Val, thank you very much. We got to move.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, we got news coming up in about half a minute. Gene, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And Kevin, I appreciate you being on with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Norm.
And you too, Arlene.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care. And of course, you too, big guy.
Oh,
That's Jack. That's you.
I see. Well, thank you very much.
Okay. And of course, to Mike Epstein and his RC Bluebird recording. You seen his son who's built just like him?
No, I haven't seen the
I
son.
forget his first name. Obviously, his last name is Mostel also. But it obviously runs in the family, that same fat look.
But he would make faces that would, I mean, he didn't have to say anything. Just his expressions would drive me crazy. I'd start laughing.
Yeah.
And Terry Thomas was like that. He'd get that sly look on his face.
Terry Thomas is the guy with the...
Buck teeth that were separated.
Well, the Dave Letterman look.
Well, he was a little more ugly than Dave Letterman. But
No, I wasn't thinking ugly, but I'm thinking of the space between his two front teeth.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm pointing out that not only do beautiful people become successful movie stars, but ugly people who have tremendous character and looks that can drive you wild, you know, as far as hysterics. There was an old English movie actress. Whenever I saw her, I mean, that she was going to be in a movie, I would turn it on because she used to drive me crazy. I'd laugh at her all the time. And that was Margaret Rutherford. Remember her?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she played detective, didn't she, in a series?
Yeah, she was always involved in murder stories, but she was always serious, but she used to break me up because she was really funny being serious.
Joyce Grenfell, because she was a comic more, but she was a British character actress in the movies. British Joyce Grenfell. I don't know, I just thought I'd throw her name in.
I can't remember her.
She was in one movie that I really loved. It was about a road race in England from London to Brighton Beach. What was that called? The name of it was the name of one of the automobiles. And anyway, she was the clerk at an inn along the way where they stopped. They wanted to take a shower. And she says, there's only hot water between 2 and 6:30. I don't know. I just remember that line. I love that movie. I've forgotten the name of it.
Yeah. Well, I got a funny face, so maybe I could get into movies, too.
Well, it depends on the kind of role. Obviously, there are an awful lot of funny-looking faces, but they're the faces that make you laugh, and so they're used as, you know, in character roles and stuff. You get not everybody can be beautiful like they are on television newscasts.
You remember Hattie McDaniel in Gone with the Wind?
Yes.
How she rolled up her eyes in her head and would say to Scarlett, you're just sitting there like a spider waiting for him to come into your web. I mean, she was so funny, too. She would make me laugh just by the expressions on her face.
Well, that's very true.
Make you laugh, and I guess that's all part of it.
There's a TV show running now on public television. I've always forgotten the name of it. It's takes place in a department store. And all these characters are all funny-looking people, but they all look like real people, and they're great actors and actresses, and they're very funny.
Then that's good.
Yeah, no. You got to have the funny-looking people. Otherwise, how do you know who's good-looking? Think about that, and if you can make any sense out of what I just said, you're okay.
I figured out who Helene is.
Who's that?
Helene, who calls you all the time.
No, I know who she is, but I mean, who'd you figure out who she was?
She's Mrs. Fletcher.
Mrs. Fletcher.
Angela Raspberry, what's her name?
You mean, you think she looks like Angela Lansbury?
Well, she talks like her, so I think that's who she is.
Okay, that could be. Hey, you know something? You're okay, Fred.
So are you, Norm. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye now. Okay, let's see. I'm thinking about a birthday beargram. 1942.
Oh, that's before my time. I was born in 1900.
Yeah, it was before my time, too.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, I lived there at a time when it's before my time or something. We moved out just after Pearl Harbor, I remember, so I haven't lived there in a very, very long time. No, that was a whole different world then.
Well, there's not much we can do about that, is there? Time marches on. Well, I keep calling you Vaughn. Why not? Your name's not Vaughn. What is your name?
Pardon me? I'm sorry. Say that again, please.
I keep calling you Vaughn.
Vaughn?
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. It's a nice slick lane.
Yeah, it's a nice name, but what is your name?
What is my name? You come on and you tell me about this wonderful station.
Now I
And
know.
you don't even know my name. And this is humiliating.
I'm telling you, I'm
Alice.
getting older every day.
Oh, you're getting older in my mind every second. My goodness.
People say I'm getting younger, though. Are they lying?
Yeah, oh, they
are.
They sure are lying.
It was, Norm, it was Carmel, California.
Carmel, yes. As a matter of fact, that was the message I was just getting. And the movie that I was trying to think of was Genevieve.
Oh,
Somebody
yes,
called us about that, too.
Nice girl. I used to drink beer with her father.
You're a wonderful old person, Alice.
Uh-huh.
I got to move along anyway, but I thank you very much for the call. And I don't know what else. What else can you say? Let's go to Ruth down at Buzzards Bay down there at the entrance to the Cape.
Hi.
Hi, Ruth.
How are you?
Okay. How are you doing?
Okay, and I'm glad to hear it because that I think it's a good thing that you are well.
I'm sorry. It's a good thing. What?
That you are well.
Oh, that I'm well. Yes, I think that's a good thing.
Okay, I have and I love your dumb birthday game.
Yes.
I really do. I look forward to that.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that.
And I want to ask you if you would do me a favor.
Day in honor of the famed first baseman. I don't know how famed she is. I hadn't heard of her before this. Red Sox Vice President Lou Gorman will present a proclamation at Warren Town Hall. Murphy's historic Major League appearance occurred August 14, 1922, when she played for the American League All-Stars in a 3-2 win against the Red Sox. Oh, she played for the other team. Anyway, she played 2 of the 10 innings in the charity game. In her only time at bat, she grounded out to short. But at first base, as a first baseman, she was errorless. Nobody, this is from Dick Reynolds, a former sports writer for the Providence Journal-Bulletin, said, nobody has ever given Lizzie credit for her accomplishments. He talks like that. He talks just like John Wayne. One reason, I think, he says, is because in sports, fame is fleeting. So in addition to having a day named after her in Warren, Murphy will be inducted into the Rhode Island Heritage Hall of Fame next month. Anyway, when she was 24 when apparently she played for a lot of local teams as a teenager while she worked at a mill in Warren. She was 24 when she joined the All-Stars, the Boston All-Stars. That was a semi-pro team of former Major League players. For the next 17 years, she played more than 100 games a season, traveling the eastern United States and Canada. And apparently got along well with other players, according to the story, and like that. I guess she didn't make the big leagues, semi-pro. I guess she got to the semi-pros, but played against the Red Sox in that special game. She received $5 a game plus a share of whatever players would collect in a hat that was passed through the stands. That's the way they got paid. It's kind of funny when you think of the kind of money they get these days. To supplement her salary, she would sell dime postcards of herself in uniform between innings. She retired from baseball in 1935 at the age of 41, married the mill supervisor, eventually went back to working in the mill, and occasionally she'd work on shellfishing boats to support herself after her husband died. But she lived till July 27, 1964. She died then at the age of 70. But she played in professional baseball anyway, if not the big leagues. Lizzie Murphy, thank you very much. And I'll talk more about her some other time, but I think that's about it for now. No longer exists.
No.
There's a Hale Hospital now.
Yeah.
Anyway, she grew up mostly on Mount Washington, on top of the hill.
Oh, yeah, towards Freeman Street and like that.
That area, that's right. Observatory Avenue and what is that? There was an observation tower up there.
Yes,
at the time. I forget what they call that. Anyway, that was at the top of the hill. And she went to. She was married on Pilling Street, I guess, which is right up that way too.
And I lived on Freeman Street in the Freeman block.
Oh, yeah.
And I was married from there.
We have a lot in common, Irene.
Don't we,
Son of a gun, yeah.
A lot of years ago. past.
Yeah, I remember going up to the up to Mount Washington. My grandfather, or my mother's father, and her mother, her folks had a place up on the top of the hill, and what is that? It's Washington Street, and we'd sit on his front porch. He had one of those big old front porches.
Yeah.
My cousin and I on rocking chairs.
Yeah.
And
sit out there and rock
and watch the cars. Yeah, watch the cars go by. And actually, what we were watching mostly were the girls going by.
That's true, Norman.
Yeah.
You can't miss them, can
Oh
we?
no, I never wanted to miss them. But we'd look at the cars going by, and we, my cousin Irving, we'd say, "Boy, there's a nice car. I'd like that one."
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that car. That's we spent hours talking about nothing.
The old Ford.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
rumble seat.
That's right. I resented when they stopped making rumble seats. I thought they just killed the whole business. Cars were made to have rumble seats. Where are they now?
Weren't they, huh?
Yeah.
And the exhaust pipe was the heat that you got when it was winter time in the front of the car.
Yeah, the cars were... Well, usually, I remember my father putting the car up for the winter. He wouldn't register until about April 1st.
Oh, yeah.
He put it up in blocks. Sometimes, I don't know, he took the wheels off or not.
Yeah, to keep the rubber off the ground.
Yeah, and then on April 1st, out he would go and crank it up, and the little skinny... the fenders, too, were little skinny things. They start to vibrate, and you'd smell the gas, and it was kind of an exciting moment. The car is ready for the spring season now. We're ready to go out for a ride.
Yeah.
And people would actually go out for a Sunday drive just for a ride. I mean, now you
mountains and like that with it.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that now. You never think of doing it.
No way.
Let's get in the machine and go for a ride.
Yeah.
And, go get an ice cream or something. It's kind of funny that times were so different, and yet it's still this century. We're not talking like 1700 or something.
Yeah.
But our attitude was quite different about a whole lot of things.
That's true. Norman, your dad came from Lawrence?
Yeah, he was actually born in Boston, but his family moved to Lawrence, I guess, when he was only about 4 or 5, and he grew up in Lawrence. That's right.
Whereabouts?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. See, my mother's folks still, in fact, not her folks, but some of her family still lives in Haverhill, so I know about that because we'd go back there.
Yeah.
But my father's folks moved out to California very, very early, back in the late 20s, I think, and so I never was quite sure, although we still have family that till recently has owned some stores in downtown Lawrence.
That's right.
Like
there isn't too many now, though.
Kolsky Jewelry. That was our family.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but I don't remember we never went to Lawrence to visit anybody. Although my grandfather, my father's father, is buried there, but he died way, way back in the early part of the century.
Yeah.
I'm telling you more than you really care to know, and I'm really getting boring.
My husband came from Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Italian.
He was Italian?
Yeah.
What right had he to be Italian? I like the way you say that. He was Italian. Like that's why he was born in Lawrence?
No, his mother and father came from Italy, but all the children were born in Lawrence.
Well, what a blessed childhood they had growing up in Lawrence.
That's true. My children did, too.
Yeah. That was quite a city at one time. They had a whole bunch they had kind of a Broadway, the theater section there with about 5 theaters in a row.
Yeah, there's no more there at all anymore.
No, there aren't any. There was, the last one was, I forget what it was called. It was right off the square.
The Paramount?
No, those were gone. Those were gone a long time ago.
You mean...
one right off of Essex Street.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
I forget what they call
think of the name.
Anyway, yeah, they have the cinemas 1 through 97 out on Route 114 there now, but no downtown theaters anymore.
No, nothing at all.
Oh, it's so sad, Irene. Sad.
It's bad now.
Oh, sad.
We have to lock our doors and everything. I never lock my doors.
Well, I tell you, people,
that's how it is.
That's the way life is, yeah.
But I have a wonderful family. I have a lot of grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
You have no grandchildren.
Oh, sure, rub it in. Sure, Irene,
your
sure.
daughter's got married and has some children.
Oh,
so
sure,
you
rub
could
my
have some grandchildren to
rub my nose in it, Irene. So I want to be a grandfather. I'd like to be a grandfather, but I can't. I shouldn't say this on the air.
I know.
That's kind of personal. Whatever they would like to do is okay with me.
I have a great-granddaughter. Her name is Carissa.
But her name is what?
Carissa.
Carissa, that's a pretty name.
And she's about 18 months old.
Oh.
And every child should have a mother and father like she has.
They're good people.
They're so good to her. They teach her things and everything. And if she does something wrong, all her mother has to do is raise her voice a little, and she knows she's done something wrong.
And Carissa says, although I cannot speak to you, you can tell by the look in my eye, I've got the message, kids.
She's got great, big, beautiful brown eyes.
Yeah. you know, we must be boring the hell out of everybody in the world, right? I'm talking about our kids and our growing up in Lawrence and Haverhill and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe we're not. Maybe some people are listening and saying, I wish they'd continue this discussion forever.
Because I had a beautiful life. I've been a widow for 25 years. So that's the only sad part about it.
I know it. Yeah, that's tough.
But I got some beautiful children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I'm a very lucky woman.
Yeah, that's a nice way to look at it, Irene.
Yeah.
You're okay. You're okay, Irene.
Well, it's nice talking to you,
Nice
Mama.
talking to you about the old days in Lawrence and Haverhill. By George.
Will.
Oh, it was wonderful doing that, going back through the years and talking Haverhill and Lawrence.
That's true.
Okay, hey, thanks for the call.
Taking the trolley car down.
Oh, well, we'll have to save that for another call.
Okay, Dummett.
Take care, dear.
Good night, dear.
Bye-bye. Oh, I tell you, those were the days. Kids were so honest then and so wonderful. And kids today, music was wonderful. Theater was wonderful. The music, the movies, we were wonderful. Everything was wonderful. Now it really sucks. I don't believe that for a minute. But that's the way old people are supposed to talk. I'll be back in a moment. But first, the stamp commercial, we're going to have to scratch a lot.
Right.
Yeah, because I went in and I found, you know what I found? I found a little piece of an eggshell. Now, I don't remember whether that's from last year or whether they actually laid an egg and then said, whoops, we will never let him find it, and then pecked away at it till it was gone. Because hens have a tendency sometimes to eat their own eggs.
Sometimes they do that, yeah.
And as I mentioned last year, the first egg was laid like the end of February. And it doesn't make sense for it not to have been produced anything by now. I'm going to have to scold them.
Now I'm going to change the subject again, drastically.
Okay. Drastically would be good.
Yes. Who do you think, who in your mind was the best big band leader?
Oh, gee, there were so many really good ones, but the ones that I like, and these not necessarily the best ones, but I mean, I was always a big Count Basie fan. I loved his stuff. I loved Duke Ellington. Here's a man who was an American genius, a man who, composed such great stuff, really for his band to play. Woody Herman had an excellent band, always very youthful. He always hired very young people and young arrangers. So even as years went by, the band never sounded dated or old-fashioned. It was always youthful and vital. I liked the Buddy Rich band, maybe a little bit less, I thought, but I did like the Buddy Rich band, that kind of stuff. Earlier, there were bands like Jimmy Lunsford and Fletcher Henderson and some of those. And, of course, you can't knock other bands like Benny Goodman and stuff. But my favorite all-time band probably was Count Basie, and along with Duke Ellington, those two.
Hey, what I wanted to ask is, and that was a leading question.
That was kind of a long answer, too. I'll be quiet now.
I was just reading an article. My computer crashed a while ago, and I work on the computer at night, and I turned the radio on, and I've been listening to you while I was working on the computer, and the computer crashed. So I picked up an old New Yorker magazine, and there's an article in it about Duke Ellington, and quite a long article. And it seems like the article says that, Duke Ellington was probably the premier American music genius.
He certainly rates up there, yeah, because I used the word genius just when I was talking to you just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, his stuff was incredibly beautifully done, yeah, and he was one of the few, he used the orchestra as something to compose for. He'd write special material.
He didn't do anything for himself.
Oh, how do you mean?
It seems, well, the article that I read, the story that I read, he composed for the band.
Yes, but a lot of that was, piano stuff which he played.
Right, but what he did was he took everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and some of his band members were there for 20 years, 30 years.
Oh, yes, that's right, yeah. He had the longevity of his musicians was great. Yeah, that's true.
And the sad part about it is he did, in order to keep his music together, and which I'm sure he did, it was his genius. He wanted something to happen. And in order for it to happen, he wanted the same people to make it happen. He kept his band together by putting them on the road all the time.
Well, I think he kept them together because they wanted to be together. You got a leader who was who's incredible musician, and he's writing material for you, like for Johnny Hodges, who's a great alto saxophone player was with the band forever. Why would you leave a band like that when it's one of the greatest bands that ever existed? You wouldn't want to leave. So it wasn't a question of him keeping them together by keeping them on the road or that kind of stuff.
Keeping them paid, I guess.
Oh, that's right. Keeping
is
them,
the bottom line.
Okay, keeping them working, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That's true. Basie broke up his band at one point. It had a small group and then reorganized the band. There were some tough times for many band leaders, but I guess it's true. Ellington seemed to keep the band going right through all of that. Yeah, and it must have been fun playing with him. And he comes out with another piece, and it's designed for you as the tenor saxophone player or as the trumpet player or for a whole section. Lovely band, anyway. You recall who wrote the article?
I have it here in front of me.
Was it Whitney Belliet or Belliet?
No, I'd have to get to the beginning of the damned article here.
Usually in the New Yorker,
Whitney Belliet.
What, pardon me?
Whitney Belliet.
Yeah, that's the guy, yeah. He's an excellent writer. He can describe a trumpet solo that makes you almost hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic article.
Yeah.
I'm not real familiar with music. I love to listen to it, obviously. What is 32 beat?
Well, that's the length of a song. You said 32 beats or 32 bars?
32 beats.
32 beats. I don't know. We'll get.
Okay.
My problem is I got to get to the news and I got a commercial before that, and that's getting me off the hook. Because if you get too technical, I don't know that much.
You're getting off the hook. Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting off the hook. I'll admit that.
Oh boy,
I'm that kind of a guy, Mike.
You can just let me down just like that. I may not call next weekend.
Call next weekend, and I'll give you some answers to that. Okay?
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Mike. Take care. You're corrected.
Are they house cats?
Yes. Well, they go out, and stuff. But one doesn't go out at all. Hardly. I mean, you got to push her out the door. But the other two come in and out, but they're in the house most of the time.
Are they old?
Yeah, I think they are. I've had them so long, I'm not sure their age.
Did you have them neutered?
Oh, yeah. No, all the animals are neutered, including the horse, except the hens. I didn't neuter the hens. But with the horse, we have a couple of dogs, male and female. They're both neutered, and 3 cats are neutered, yeah. So I think everybody should do that.
Oh, I do, too. Did you ever go through the Friends of Animals?
I'm not sure I know exactly what that is.
They are great. They provide services to have all your animals, dogs and cats, neutered. And if you send away, I think they're based in Connecticut, and they will send you a certificate to bring to your vets, and for $25, you can have your cat or dog neutered.
Well, that's a good thing.
You go through the Friends of Animals.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think all people should do that.
Definitely.
Because there are so many animals, dogs and cats, that have to be put away because they can't find homes for them. It's a shame. So that's a good idea. No, I was not aware of that. I know that very often when, say, you're adopting a pet, which is also a very good idea because you can get some awfully good animals at humane shelters and stuff. And very often they won't give the animal to you unless you agree to have them neutered or they neuter them there, and that kind of stuff. But I think that's important. Yeah, I think that's very, very important. So you're okay, Mary. How many cats do you have?
Well, I used to have 6.
Oh, my.
But now I live in an elderly complex, and I'm down to 1.
Okay.
And it's nice because they allow you to have a cat in an elderly complex.
Okay, does your house smell from cat?
No.
Okay, because mine does. I'm always afraid when somebody comes to visit.
That's surprising because usually if you have them neutered, they don't smell. The box doesn't
No, well,
smell.
I'm thinking not so much of that part of it, but the fact that their movements somehow, I don't know, maybe I just don't clear out the litter box.
Must be what you feed them, Norm.
It might be that. See, I'm trying to be a sex symbol, and here I'm talking about the cats with their bowel movements,
Well, I'd
which
rather
kind of
hear that.
distress.
I'd rather hear that, Norm.
Okay.
Norm, it was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you, Mary. Take care.
Oh, Norm.
Yes.
Do you live anywhere near Boston Street? In
No, I live on the other side of town.
Oh.
But you know Middleton, obviously.
Yeah, I have friends in Middleton, near Boston Street.
Okay, now
That's the only area I know.
Oh, that's a pretty area. That's the other side of Route 114.
When I go through Middleton, I always say, "Now, is this where Norm lives?"
Oh, yeah, that's Boston Street is Route 62, and 114 is that. No, I live on the other side, more toward Danvers on one side, and Boxford, Topsfield, the other side. That side.
I see. Okay, Norm.
Okay.
Thank you for talking to me.
You're welcome, Mary.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, that's my friend Mary. She's okay. Sort of legitimatizes our meetings when you were Princess Cheyenne at the Naked Eye in Boston. And I went down to Providence for the Foxy Lady, and now you guys are up, both of you, up in Matthews. I didn't realize there was a club of that type.
Really?
Up in Kingsborough. I thought there was a staid little Middlesex County town up there. I didn't think in the midst of all that there'd be a place like Matthews.
Yeah, it's true. Well, the town isn't too appreciative, or some members of the town. I think a lot of members of the town are very appreciative that's there, actually. But I think certain members of the town aren't too pleased with it at all.
Has the club been there very long?
2 months.
Oh, this is a brand new thing.
Yeah, brand new. And there was a big deal because the town, was threatening to strike, not strike, I'm sorry. It's late. Picket in front of the club and carry on, so.
Have you been the victim of any kind of hostility? What do they say?
No.
Hey, she's in there stripping and stuff. Let's go get her.
No, I would love that, though.
Really?
Controversy, yes. Confrontation is my field.
Okay. Now, Montana, you're pretty young, aren't you? You look like you're about 14.
No, I'm 27.
The voice is 14, but the body is 27. Have you been a stripper very long?
10 months.
10 months. Do you recall the first time? Was that really tough? Did you have to get drunk or anything to brace yourself?
No, I went down to amateur night at the Foxy Lady, and it was fun. I had a good time. I'm a natural.
A natural what?
She is. It's true.
Is she a natural?
She is. In the middle of a dance, she'll all of a sudden break into a tap dance, Spanish dance. It's wild. She's absolutely wild.
The guys are really responsive, and they're sweet, and they make it fun for you. So you have a good time when they're having a good time.
Are you using your real voice? Is that the way you really talk?
Oh, this is my real voice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, because it's very sweet. It's so different. There's no getting your voices mixed up, you two. One fella called me Lucy who dances. You still use Princess Cheyenne?
Well, I'm using Lucy up there because that way when guys yell, Lucy, over here for a table dance, it's a lot easier than saying, Princess Cheyenne, over here for a table dance. So I figure I'm maybe making a few extra bucks off of using a shorter name. But,
A fella called from Pennsylvania. And he's obviously interested in you, both of you, as a matter of fact. I know right now he's probably interested in Montana too. Anyway, he wanted to know how to approach a woman so that she would not, he would not be a total turnoff for her. Lines like, I always think of an old I forget who used to use this. He would sidle up to a woman and say, "Excuse me, did I drop my Congressional Medal of Honor in your banana split?" Something like that. What kind of a line would guys use that would make sense to you? Am I getting too heavy here with all of this stuff?
How about some of the ones that don't make sense?
Yeah, what kind of lines do you hear?
What time do you get off work? Oh, God, I love that.
It reminds me of, we used to do programs from auto shows and stuff like that, you know, on a remote trailer and stuff. And I remember the lines that especially auto shows, because they always use models and stuff who stand up there with the cars. And everybody who uses this line always giggles a little bit afterwards, like, boy, didn't I come up with a swell line? And you've heard it 8 million times, and I wonder, but the women who are the models, they must get sick to their stomach. They'll say, "Hey, you come with the car?" And then they chuckle like, "Boy, didn't I just come up with a clever line?"
Yeah, right.
So you hear probably the same kind of lines all the time. But besides what time do you get off? Are there other kind of typical ones that come popping up from time to time?
Well, sometimes when you do a table dance, they say things like, "What else do I get for this $10?
Ooh.
Nothing.
The answer is nothing.
Nothing.
Which is kind of you pardon the expression, anticlimactic. I don't know whether that's a phrase that ought to be used in this particular circumstance or not.
I think men have a hard time taking women that are naked or partially naked seriously as far as dating. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe for lustful purposes, they consider us, you know, as possible dates for that particular evening. But in the daylight, real life, I think that, you know,
they don't say
happen that way.
They don't say, "Have you read Henry Kissinger's latest book on the Middle East solutions" or anything like that? They don't call it. And yet, you're bright people. Yeah, I know you. I know you're bright, Lucy. I assume that you're bright too, Montana. Are you bright, or are you kind of a stupid person?
No, I don't think I'm stupid at all.
No, Montana.
No, I know you're not. I'm sorry. Say that again.
No, she's not at all. She's very smart. Very smart.
What kind of a background do you have, Montana?
Well, I went to college for marketing, and I worked in the fashion industry for about 8 years. And actually, I was. What can I say where I worked?
Yeah.
I love these stage whispers.
Yeah, sure, okay, go ahead.
No, actually, I was working for a company called Rika before I started dancing.
Was it Leica?
Rika. It's a women's athletic footwear company.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And then I started dancing, and I started making more money in one night than I did in a whole week. And I said, goodbye.
So that was it. But the first time you danced in public like that, obviously didn't bother you, you're saying?
No, I mean, I when I was going to college in New York, after I was working in the industry for a while, I studied acting. So I was used to being. It's like role playing when you're dancing. You know, I'm being someone's fantasy. So it's a role, and you know, you just have a good time.
You have to ask her this, right?
What?
Well, because we were working at the Foxy Lady, which of course.
I tell you what,
tough.
could you hold?
I sure could.
We got news coming up. That's right. And right after that, we'll continue that. This is known as a teaser.
A teaser.
And you guys ought to know about that kind of business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. 254-1030. If you want to talk to Montana or to Lucy, give us a call. That'd be kind of fun. You don't really get a chance to talk to these women because they're kind of on stage and everything. Or maybe you do. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We have Lucy Johnson and Montana and her RCA Bluebird Recording Orchestra with us. They are dancers at a place in Kingsborough called Matthews, and Lucy danced as Princess Cheyenne. I was going to say many years ago, but you're a young person. Couldn't have been that long.
18 years.
You've been dancing 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
For a little punk kid like you, that I can't believe that. And Montana is just a year.
10 months.
10 months. Okay. And I mentioned now both work at Matthews. They're both strippers, and Lucy as Princess Cheyenne was at the hallowed stage. I'm reading Tony Nesbitt's notes here.
Oh, geez.
It says you stripped from the hallowed stage of the Naked Eye in Boston's infamous combat zone, which doesn't exist anymore.
No.
If anything. To the Foxy Lady in Providence, and she says she now thrills the crowds at the Matthews in Kingsborough And it says she'll be bringing a couple of friends with her for an evening we'll never forget. He brought one, and I haven't forgotten it yet.
Well, these are the other two friends.
What's that?
These were the other two friends.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they don't speak.
Well, that sounds like that bad joke they used to do about, what is her name? The blonde country and western singer's been in movies.
Dolly.
Oh, Dolly Parton, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Dolly Parton and Here They Come, or something like that. Anyway, there are apparently a lot of guys would like to talk to you. But before...
Wait, I want to finish that. I want you to ask her that question.
Oh, yeah. No, the question was what?
Because you were talking about how it felt the first time.
Yes.
Right, well, see, Matthews is nude. Right.
Matthews, nude dancing.
Nude dancing, not topless, nude.
Oh,
all comes off.
Total nude.
Total nude. Oh. So, Montana, in talking about coming to work there, I don't know if I can do it. I can't. No, I'll just dance there. No, there are other girls that don't take their bottoms off. One. But so that's what I'm going to do. Well, Norm, ask her what she did on her first song dancing there. Or what?
Well, I heard my cue on the way out about nude dancers, and I thought I'd walk in the door.
I'll
have a seat. On my lap.
Lap dancing.
Lap dancing in Norm's room.
We're taking calls from people.
$10.
Will you speak quiet? Because you're still young enough to be my daughter, and I'll slap you. Mainly because I find that's a turn on, too, and I hope you do.
Oh, Daddy.
Okay. It's kind of funny. At one time, I used to do a program called The Classical Album and called myself Norman Nathan because I wanted to be a little more dignified. I've really slid a whole lot since those days. Let me tell you.
Hey, it smells really nice in here. It really does.
I was
a hell of a lot better it does when you're just in here by yourself.
Well, when I'm here by myself, there's a manly smell, a good manly aroma. And I was going to ask you, Montana, about your folks, because you live with your folks, and they know what you're doing, and they haven't offered objections.
Well, when I first started dancing, I was honest with them. They knew, and they weren't happy about it. But they said to me they would never tell me that I couldn't because they're not that kind of people. They know that I have to make my own decisions, and now I'm paying all my own bills. I got a new car.
Now, what about pretend you never said that.
I didn't say that.
No. What about you? Because you're not married.
No, I'm single.
Now, do men feel intimidated, or do they? Is that more of a come on because of what you do?
Maybe we should ask Tony.
Tony, how do you feel about that?
I noticed him looking at her a little bit. That's why.
I don't want to ask Tony.
I saw him looking at her kind of with little doe eyes.
Well, he's looking at both of you with lust in his eye. That's the kind of guy he is. But I'm wondering, like for dates and stuff like that, does that slow down your dates, or does that get you more dates? So I've just wondered if...
Well, I'm not seeing anybody right now, and I don't know. I think guys think it's interesting, but the last boyfriend that I had, well, the boyfriend before the last boyfriend, he had a problem with it.
Yeah.
He didn't like it, and he couldn't deal with it, and so I had to let him go.
You had to let him go.
Yep.
I love that.
I see.
I love that.
That's an interesting way to phrase it.
I think it's a great way for girls to be independent, make a good living. There's a lot of single mothers, college students that do this. In fact, I'm going back to school, and, it's better than sitting behind a desk making $200 a week.
I would say so. I find that to be so, too. Yeah, that's
what I do here.
Yeah, I know. Maybe you ought to take up nude dancing.
I think you'd be good at it, Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You slim down. You look very nice.
Thank you.
He does look okay.
Very foxy.
Yeah, I think you're turning these ladies on,
Yeah.
Tony, and I resent that.
Oh, I have to say one more thing, though, about my parents. I know that, my father's really pushing for me to get in school and get this over with. He doesn't want me to do this forever.
Yeah.
But they're cool. I have to say my parents have been very cool about the whole thing.
Oh, that's very, very nice.
What are you going back to school for?
I'm going back to school for hairdressing because I want to own my own business. I want to have my own salon.
Excellent. Let's take some phone calls now. This is Mark, who is in Newton. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Norm.
How you doing?
Good. Hello to you and your wonderful guests.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, Mark, to you and yours.
Say, Norm, I told you this before, and now I'm getting aggravated because You know, 20 years ago, I auditioned for a job at a local radio station, and I was trying to decide on a career between cartooning and radio.
Yeah.
And this is a true story. The swing factor was that someone said to me to go into cartooning because it's a great way to meet women. So, Norm, why am I here working late on a deadline? And you're there surrounded by beautiful women. What did I do wrong?
You picked the wrong profession.
So obviously.
Yeah. I tell you, I've been in radio, as you probably know, and people are always surprised at this because I'm such a good-looking, youthful person.
It still shocks me today.
Yeah, it still shocks the fact that I've been in radio this long. But I've been in the parts of radio where you didn't sit around with beautiful women. You'd sit around giving race results and all that kind of stuff for a lot of years. I had to work very hard to work my way up to this point where I can be surrounded by these good-looking ladies.
Oh, I see. It's something like that you reach after you've paid your dues.
To pay your dues, and then you get to this point where it comes naturally, and they throw themselves at you. I would appreciate if you guys wouldn't laugh when I make statements like that.
We know how true it is.
Okay. Now, what are you working on now, Mark, in the cartooning?
Right now, I'm working on an Aladdin coloring book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's based on the sequel to Aladdin, where Jafar returns. It's a lot of fun.
Because you do a lot of work for the Disney Studios.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, no, he does. We talked about that last time.
Yeah.
You do a freelance for Disney. They assign you certain kinds of things to do, and you do that.
Different projects based on different films and things like that.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's fun. I just finished up a Little Mermaid comic book and stuff like that. It's interesting. So I wanted to mention to Lucy, I've heard you on the radio before. I just wanted to say that you're a great spokesperson for the profession. I mean, you're very straightforward and honest, and I don't know, I just enjoy the fact that you're just a great spokesperson for it. In Montana, I mean, you both sound very well adjusted, and you really give a lot of credence to this profession.
Thank you.
That's a nice thing to say. Thank you very much, Mark.
Oh, my pleasure.
And good luck on the cartoon.
My daughter will look forward to the next coloring book.
How old is your daughter?
4.
You have the one child?
Yep.
4 years old.
4 years old.
And what's her first name?
Tori.
Oh, that's pretty, Tori.
Yeah.
Of course, if you said her name was Max, I would have said that's pretty, too. I don't know. Anything you say sounds pretty to me.
Is it all Disney stuff she's into us?
Yeah, well, no, actually, she really likes Popeye and...
Really?
Home Alone and...
Is she into Barney?
No, we hate Barney together.
Thank God. Let's go to Lynn.
I love you.
Here's Neil from Lynn. Hi, Neil. You're on WBZ.
Hi,
Neil.
ladies.
Hello.
Could you sparkle my imagination by giving me your measurements?
Wait, Norm, could you wrap the measuring tape around? That's it. Now go around to the front.
Okay.
Right. Nipple level. Yeah. What does it say?
Yeah, it says...
Oh, is it 48 or 49?
No, it doesn't say. Now, don't exaggerate. It says Zowie Jeekers. Yeah. Now, their measurements
Triple
are...
D.
Yeah, will you stop?
I am a triple D. Why should I stop?
Are you a triple D?
Yes, she is.
Well, can you be like a 22 triple D?
No.
There's other parts to that.
I wear a 36 triple D in case you'd like to send a bra, send a care of Norm Nathan, and he'll forward it to me.
That's right, too.
Because I love bras.
I may put it under my pillow for a few nights and have fantasies, but I'd get it to you eventually. No, they're both very attractive and very well, as we used to say, endowed. I get excited just saying that word.
You're walking that fine line again.
I know. I have a feeling if George Westinghouse is listening.
Oh, he's rolled over in his grave.
This is the end of my entire life and my career tonight, and it'll be your fault. So you'll owe me. Don't forget that too.
You can come live in the cabana.
Okay. What else would you like to know, Neil? And I'm afraid to ask that question.
Well, have the women ever heard of Howard Stern and their opinions of him?
Nobody cares. Please don't mention Howard Stern. I mean, the man is a zilch.
You should know better than that, Neil.
Neil, I'm going to...
Neil's,
I'm going to hang
before. He's a legit guy. How can he say something?
I don't know. I just hung up on him. I cannot stand that kind of talk. We'll go 254-1030 is our number, by the way. This is Dan, who's out in Littleton, Massachusetts, up near Boxborough and that way. Hi, Dan.
precariously close to Tingsboro, I think.
That's
Hi.
right. Tingsboro's not too
I'm a
bad.
first-time caller, so I'm a little bit nervous here, but that's all right.
I'm nervous when I'm sitting with these guys. I never know what they're going to say.
Well, we were all nervous on that first time, so, you know.
Right.
What would you like
I've been listening to you, Norm, for quite a long time, so I was just saying hi. I enjoy your program.
Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that.
Saying hi to the lovely ladies there, who I have seen, and they actually know who I am.
Oh, you've been to the club and seen them?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
What's your name again?
Dan.
Dan.
And I drop origami all over the place.
You drop what?
Origami.
Wait, do you make those roses?
Yes.
Dan.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for the rose.
My goodness, there's a whole hidden story here.
Dan, I want a swan next time, Kay.
A swan?
Yeah.
So you enjoy their dancing and stuff? And you okay. Are you a big spender? You come in and really throw your money around like crazy?
Well, I don't think I throw it around like crazy.
Apparently you don't, because I
If I
don't.
had a higher income, I might, but...
Well, it's a nice gesture with the roses and all. Thank you.
Oh, that's very nice, Dan. Isn't that nice? Okay, the fan out there. Thank you very much for calling, Dan.
Thank you.
I have a feeling he wanted to talk some more, but to tell you the truth, when another guy cuts in on my territory, I'm not too excited about that. They're mine. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're mine. Okay. John in Boston. Hi, John. You're on WBZ.
Norm.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing right now. I'm doing fine. Yeah. If I had two little shriveled up old guys here, I wouldn't be doing so great.
I'm kind of nervous too, like the last caller.
Oh, there's no need to. They're very kind to people who are making their first call.
Maybe it's radio, so it's.
I think I saw Lucy maybe about 10 years ago downtown here in Boston.
Yeah.
At the naked eye, as Princess Cheyenne. Is that right?
And that was an extremely memorable experience. I just can't get it out of my mind.
Now, what made it an extremely memorable experience?
I don't know. I can't recall anything specific. It was just the aura of the whole episode was just... I don't know what I'm saying, Norm.
You're ready
It's funny how he described it as so memorable, but I can't recall exactly what it was.
No, obviously, the whole thing stands out in his mind very well.
Come on, you guys are being cruel. He was being very flattering, and you're ruining it.
No, he was flattering. Obviously, it was an experience that he enjoyed. But the part that interests me is what you said, something about you can't figure out what you're talking about. I thought you were ready to do an all-night show, because I go through the same handicap night after night.
I wanted to ask them a question. I'm a guy who lives in the city, and I don't have a car. And how would I get to way up there, up to where is it?
You're not going to find it on the end of the red line, that's for sure. Find a friend with a car.
Yeah.
The only way to get there.
Bus, Amtrak, Greyhound, any kind of stop up there?
No,
Heading on into New
know
Hampshire or something? Nothing.
No.
I mean, it is right by Nashua. It's not far from Nashua, actually.
So you could take a train to Nashua or a bus to Nashua
and a cab to,
and then walk the rest of the way.
Ooh, not sure how much of our time with the ladies was stripped from our listening pleasure, but what we had there was certainly entertaining. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hit that little bell so you can be notified when another episode is broadcasting. And please contribute to the vault by becoming a patron on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. The link is below. I'm very grateful to those that have already subscribed. Before I go, let me be the first to say, see you next year. Ha! That never gets old. Closing the vault and leaving this world a little sillier than we found it. For Uncle Max, Laurie and her hirsute dad, 9X, Hopes and Dreams, Isaac Melanson, Wretches, Brow Dabbing, Clearing Your Throat so as not to die on the air, Frolicking in the Woods, Madeira, Lizzie Murphy, Lou Gorman, Doris and Ed Cook, Margaret Rutherford, Joyce Grenfell, Hattie McDaniel, Norm's Cousin Irving, the classical album